The turbines have been turning slowly for hours. Red lights blink at steady intervals. The fields stretch flat in every direction. Nothing here is in a hurry. The air does not feel restless. It moves with quiet intention. The words can remain distant, like blades crossing the sky above you. Tall towers stand spaced across the plain. Their bases disappear into dark grass. No vehicle approaches along the service road. The land feels open, undisturbed. Each blade completes its rotation, not fast, not slow, just steady. The motion does not demand attention. It simply continues. A low mechanical hum travels across the field. Not loud, not sharp. It blends into the wind, then disappears again. Time begins to loosen beneath the towers. Minutes stop separating themselves. The turning replaces the clock. Nothing presses forward. Red signal lights blink in soft sequence. One fades, another appears, then another. The pattern feels predictable, reassuring. The ground between turbines remains still. Grass bends slightly, then settles. No footsteps cross the soil. A narrow gravel path runs toward the nearest tower. White stones reflect faint light. No tire marks disturb them. The surface feels unused, complete as it is. The blades continue their slow arc, cutting air without sound, returning to where they began. Each circle feels identical to the last. Time spreads wider across the plain. Moments rest side by side. No direction forms. The pause feels sufficient. Above, the sky remains clear and deep. Stars stay fixed in their places. No cloud interrupts the view. The height feels vast, but calm. A faint shift of wind passes through the grass. Not enough to carry dust, not enough to cool the air. Then it fades. The turbines do not accelerate. They do not slow. They maintain their quiet rhythm, steady, balanced. No truck appears on the distant road. No light turns toward the field. No signal changes color. The boundary remains undisturbed. Time loosens further beneath the turning blades. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels evenly spread across the land. Red lights continue their quiet blinking, one after another, never all at once. The pattern remains measured. The gravel path reflects faint light again, then fades back into shadow. Nothing moves along it. The surface remains untouched. The wind farm does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to stop. It simply remains in motion, neutral, reliable. Each blade completes another circle. Air parts. Air closes. The rotation continues. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The open plain holds its shape. The towers hold their height. The sky holds its stars, each element aligned without effort. No signal announces a change. No sound sharpens. Nothing resolves. The field feels complete as it is. The turbines continue beneath the wide night plain. The red lights continue their steady rhythm. The wind continues to pass between blades. Everything remains balanced, quiet, and undisturbed through the long, slow hours before dawn. The field continues to rest beneath the turning blades. No light changes its rhythm. No tower shifts its place. The spacing remains exact. Each turbine completes another slow circle. Air parts gently, then closes again. The motion feels unbroken, unforced. Red lights blink along the horizon. One fades, another glows. Then darkness returns between them. The pattern stays measured. Time loosens further across the plain. Moments stop lining up. They settle evenly beneath the towers. No direction presses forward. Grass moves once in a low wave. Not enough to travel far, not enough to gather speed. Then it settles again. The gravel path remains pale in the faint light. No footprint appears. No tire disturbs the stones. The surface feels complete. Above, the sky remains wide and deep. Stars hold their quiet positions. No cloud drifts through them. The height feels steady, contained by stillness. The turbines do not quicken. They do not slow. Their rhythm remains constant, balanced, reliable. A faint hum travels across the field. Not louder, not softer. It blends into the open air, then disappears from notice. Time spreads evenly once more. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The pause feels sufficient. The towers remain spaced across the land. The blades remain in motion. The red lights remain steady, each element holding its place. No vehicle approaches along the distant road. No new beam crosses the field. Nothing signals change. The boundary remains firm. The wind farm does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to rest. It simply continues. Neutral. Uninterrupted. Another rotation completes. Then another. Each circle identical to the last. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The open plain holds its quiet shape. The towers hold their height. The sky holds its stars. Everything remains aligned, undisturbed and steady, as the long night continues beneath the turning blades. The plain remains open beneath the steady rotation. No tower leans, no light falters. The distance between them stays precise. Blades continue their quiet sweep, not cutting, not rushing, just turning through dark air, Each arc feels identical to the last. Red lights blink across the horizon again, a soft pulse, then absence, then another. The rhythm stays calm and measured. Time loosens further across the land. Moments do not advance. They settle gently under the towers. No sequence forms. The grass bends slightly in a passing breath of wind. Not enough to travel far, not enough to carry sound. Then it returns upright. The gravel path remains pale and empty. No shadow crosses it. No motion disturbs the stones. The surface feels undisturbed. Above, the sky holds its depth. Stars remain steady. Nothing shifts among them. The height feels wide, but contained by quiet. The turbines maintain their speed, neither faster nor slower. Their movement feels balanced, reliable, even. A low hum drifts across the open ground. It does not sharpen. It does not fade. It becomes part of the field, then disappears into stillness. Time spreads evenly once more. Minutes lose their weight. Presence replaces progression. The pause feels complete. The towers remain upright. The blades remain turning. The red lights remain blinking. Each element steady within its place. No vehicle approaches from the distant road. No new light enters the field. No signal changes. The boundary holds firm. Another slow rotation completes. Then another. The air opens and closes around the blades. Nothing resolves. Nothing begins. The wind farm continues beneath the wide night plain. The lights continue their quiet rhythm. The land continues to rest between towers. Everything remains aligned, balanced, and undisturbed as the long dark hours move quietly toward morning. The field remains open beneath the final quiet hours. No tower alters its height. No light loses its rhythm. The spacing across the plain stays exact. Blades complete another slow circle. Air parts gently, then closes without sound. The motion feels endless, yet unhurried. Red lights blink once more along the horizon, a soft pulse, then darkness between, then stillness again. The pattern remains calm and measured. Time no longer feels like progression. Moments rest quietly beneath the turbines. They do not lead anywhere. The pause feels sufficient. Grass moves in a faint breath of wind. Not enough to gather, not enough to travel far. Then it settles once more. The gravel path stays empty. The sky stays clear. The hum remains low and steady. Nothing presses the night forward. The turbines continue without effort. Balanced against the dark sky, balanced against the land. Steady, contained. The plain holds its quiet shape. The red lights hold blades hold their turning. Everything remains aligned, undisturbed and calm, as the final stretch of night lingers beneath the wide, open sky.